Today I'll be talking about what I think are the best stocks to buy now. Watch to the end of this video to learn where I am investing my money and the reasons for this. Before I talk about these stocks, I want to remind you that everything in this video is an opinion and is for information purposes only. It is not intended to be financial advice. If you plan to buy stocks, please do your own research. Welcome to I Will Become a Millionaire, the YouTube channel that is part financial journey and part education. Okay, so here's some useful terminology to note before I talk about each of the stocks I will be investing in. Revenue is the total amount of income generated by the sale of goods or services related to the company's primary operations. Price to earnings is the ratio of a company's share price to company's earnings per share. Diluted earnings per share are earnings made on every share, assuming that all securities that are convertible were converted. Operating margin is the percentage of profit before interest or taxes. Current ratio is the ratio between current assets and current liabilities, current meaning held for less than a year. And finally, the quick ratio shows how well current assets minus inventory cover current liabilities. This basically shows a company's ability to cover short-term debts. The first share I will talk about is NortonLifeLock. NortonLifeLock is a cybersecurity company. As I tend to go for shares with a PE ratio below 25, with the lower number being better, this share seems to be quite good value based on the PE ratio of 16. The operating margin is extremely high at 29%, showing that it is very profitable. In terms of liquidity, I like the current ratio and the quick ratio to be around 1 to 3, because if it's larger than 3, they are not using their money/debt productively in order to grow, and if it's smaller than 1, they may be unable to cover their debts. In this case, both ratios are quite low, and it is something I would want to keep my eye on in case they drop below 1. The next share I want to talk about is NRG Energy Inc. This is an electricity company and is probably my favourite of each of the shares I will discuss. It is ridiculously cheap when compared to its intrinsic value, has very high diluted EPS. The CFO is trying to cut costs, and they just wrapped up a deal to acquire Direct Energy for $3.6 billion earlier this month. Bio-Rad Laboratories is another cheap stock with a PE ratio below 5 with an extremely high diluted earnings per share. They are involved in the development and manufacture of pharmaceutical goods, which seems to be an especially lucrative market at the moment. Xerox is a manufacturer and seller of office equipment. As a result of the event, the operating margin is quite low. However, once most offices open again, I expect to see further growth, and Xerox has more than enough money to cover any current liabilities for the year. Facebook's share price has dipped recently due to bad news stories, such as their plan to share WhatsApp data, which is owned by Facebook, with Facebook. I believe the amount that the share price has dipped is an overreaction from the market, and that it will recover soon. Facebook also has the highest operating margin of all the shares I will discuss, although I would like to see them using their current assets more productively, such as investing in more new technology. IBM is a technology/IT services company. They have held their long-time place as the top recipient of US patents in 2020. They seem to be using their current assets well, and they have made significant changes through their focus on hybrid cloud technology as well as AI, which will begin to take hold in 2021. This is also quite a cheap stock, and it's the same price now as it was in March/April of last year. General Motors is involved in the manufacturing and selling of automobiles and automobile parts. They have recently decided to only make all-electric cars by 2035, and they are investing a lot of money into the self-driving car startup Cruise LLC. Their operating margin is very low, but I expect this to turn around when they start to see a return from these decisions and investments. CVS Health is an American healthcare company that owns CVS Pharmacy, a retail pharmacy chain. They are currently hiring thousands of staff to give vaccines. While I am a little worried that the quick ratio is below 1, I expect to see significant growth this year. I also expect to see the market flip from technology companies to brick and mortar companies in the coming months to some degree. The Home Depot is a home improvement retail chain. They have massively outperformed their rival Lowe's, have a decent operating margin, and a little bit of a liquidity problem. Like CVS, I expect this to be solved when the market flips more towards physical stores. As you can probably guess, Renewable Energy Group is a renewable energy company. They specialise in biodiesel, which is an advanced biofuel that is renewable and biodegradable. It is a cleaner burning drop-in replacement to petroleum diesel fuel. Renewable energy is becoming more and more popular, and I think this is an especially useful technology, particularly because you can recycle waste products such as cooking oil and turn them into fuel. The PE ratio is also incredibly low, despite its share price rising considerably in 2020. Here is a summary of the information I talked about in this video. I will be investing £200 into each of these 10 shares for a total of £2,000 on Monday, as well as investing roughly £40 into 5 more speculative companies. These companies are Palantir, Barclays, TUI AG, Premier Oil plc, and EasyJet for a total of £200. This is based on factors such as Peter Thiel being a founder, government contracts, and the hope that share prices will recover to near pre-pandemic levels. If you want to know where I got all the financial information for this video, please see a link to FinViz in the description. It is free due to ads, because you're the product. Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts on my portfolio and what shares you're thinking of buying.